Welcome to Zoe Stories. My aunt trapped me in her closet. Now I live as her niece. 5 minutes. That's all it'll take. You're such a chicken, Daniel. Come on, prove you're not boring. The words echoed in my mind long after the closet door clicked shut. It was supposed to be a joke. A dumb dare during a week-long stay at my Aunt Veronica's home. My mother's older sister, someone I barely knew. My parents had left me in her care while they went on a spiritual retreat in the mountains. I was supposed to get out of my shell and learn to socialize. Instead, I found myself locked inside a walk-in closet full of lace, satin, heels, and things that smelled like perfume and power. My name is Daniel. I'm 19. I don't cause trouble. I don't party. I don't even have a proper friend circle, mostly just online gaming buddies I've never met. I'm the kind of guy teachers forget about in class. The kind of guy who apologizes when someone bumps into him. So when Aunt Veronica teased me at dinner with her wine glass swirling in one hand, asking, "Have you ever even been kissed?" I just turned red and shrugged. That was my first mistake. The second was agreeing to the dare. Aunt Veronica's house was intimidating. Not messy, not warm. It was cold elegance, marble floors, heavy curtains, and mirrors that always seemed to catch you when you looked your worst. She was in her late 30s, divorced, powerful, beautiful. The kind of woman who didn't need to raise her voice to make you feel like a child. She had a way of looking at me like she was studying a subject under glass. That night, she poured herself another glass of wine and smirked across the table. "You boys always think you know yourselves," she said. "But I bet 5 minutes in my closet would scare you more than a horror movie." I laughed nervously. "Why?" "Because it's not just clothes in there," she said, standing slowly. "It's freedom, surrender, power, things you wouldn't understand. Yet." I swallowed. My heart beat faster for reasons I didn't understand. Maybe it was the way she walked, heels tapping slowly on the tile, or the scent of her perfume that followed her like a whisper. Maybe it was the way her eyes sparkled, like she already knew something I didn't. "I dare you," she said, crossing her arms. 5 minutes. My closet. Alone. No peeking. "If you last, I'll stop teasing you." "Fine," I said. "Whatever." I followed her down the hallway. The closet was more like a private boutique. Wall-to-wall mirrors. Racks of expensive dresses. Drawers labeled in cursive script. Lingerie, silks, accessories. A vanity table stood in the corner with a round mirror and an army of makeup bottles in perfect rows. She opened the door, gestured in, and smiled. 5 minutes. Don't touch anything. I stepped inside. She closed the door. It locked. I turned. "Aunt Veronica?" I called. No response. Just soft classical music playing somewhere behind the walls, as if the room itself wanted to soothe me. At first, I just stood there, awkwardly. Then the scent began to change me. It was everywhere, floral, soft, intoxicating. My fingers brushed against the silk of a red negligee hanging nearby. I didn't mean to touch it, but once I did, it was hard to stop. There was something soothing about the texture. Something comforting. The vanity light blinked on by itself. My reflection stared back. And then I saw it, laid out on the vanity. A pink lace bra and matching panties. A silky baby blue dress. A handwritten note. "Put these on. If you don't, I'll show your little secret to your mother." I froze. What secret? And then my phone buzzed in my pocket. A photo. I opened it. It was a screenshot of my search history. Crossdressing forums. Feminization fantasies. Closet selfies I thought were private. "No," I whispered. She couldn't. The door stayed locked. My hands trembled. The clock ticked louder. My skin burned with shame, confusion, and something else. Curiosity. I looked back at the mirror. At the clothes. At the trap. I thought I could pretend just for 5 minutes. But the moment I stepped out of that closet, I wasn't Daniel anymore. And Aunt Veronica knew it. "You make such a pretty girl, Daniel. But I think we need to find you a prettier name." Those were the first words Aunt Veronica said when she opened the closet door. I stood there trembling. Face flushed, heart hammering, throat dry. I hadn't even realized I'd put the clothes on until I saw my reflection again. The baby blue dress hugged my body too well. The pink panties felt snug and strange. My legs were bare, soft from the lotion I'd tried weeks ago in secret. The bra didn't fit perfectly, but it didn't have to, because what mattered was the look in her eyes when she saw me. It wasn't shock. It wasn't even amusement. It was satisfaction. Like a spider admiring the silk of her own web. "You didn't have to put it on," she said softly, walking closer. "But you did." "I didn't mean to," I stammered. "You blackmailed me." "Blackmail?" she smiled, setting down her wine glass. "Is that what you call it when someone gives you permission to be what you secretly want?" No, I don't. This isn't me." "Oh, honey," she said, running a finger along my shoulder. "But it is." She walked in slow circles around me, her heels clicking against the closet floor. My breathing grew uneven. I could feel her eyes tracing every inch of me, judging, analyzing, approving. "Look at you," she said, stopping in front of me. "You followed every step like a good girl. Bra, panties, dress. You didn't hesitate. That tells me more than any search history ever could." I felt my throat tighten. "Please don't tell Mom." She tilted her head. "That depends on you, darling. If you behave, your secret's safe with me. But if you try to run from this..." She held up her phone. "I've got more than enough screenshots to ruin your quiet little world." I was shaking, humiliated, trapped. But some sick, confusing part of me wasn't just afraid. It was excited. She took my hand, led me to the vanity chair. "Sit." I obeyed, like a puppet whose strings had been pulled just right. She stood behind me and gathered my messy brown hair in her fingers. "We'll need to grow this out. Or maybe invest in a few good wigs. Either way, we have work to do." "What are you doing to me?" I whispered. She leaned down, her voice warm and honeyed in my ear. "I'm helping you become something beautiful. But I don't want this." She smirked. "Then take it off. Walk out. Go tell your mommy and daddy what you were wearing in your aunt's closet." She stepped back, arms folded. "Go ahead." I looked at my reflection. The soft dress. The flushed cheeks. The trembling lips. My words caught in my throat. "That's what I thought," she said. "You're not running, because a part of you loves this." She spent the next hour transforming me further. First, she wiped my face clean with micellar water, then began layering creams and foundation like a painter preparing her canvas. "Close your eyes," she said. I obeyed again, helplessly, as mascara brushed my lashes and blush kissed my cheeks. Lip gloss came last, light pink and glossy, like something a girl might wear on her first date. When she was done, she turned the mirror toward me. I gasped. It was subtle, but unmistakable. I didn't look like Daniel anymore. I looked like someone else. A girl. A soft, nervous, pretty girl. "You're not allowed to look at yourself like that anymore," she said firmly. "Boys don't get to admire this face. Only girls do." "I'm not a girl." "Not yet," she said. "But you will be." She took me to the guest room, mine now, apparently, and handed me a floral nightgown. "You'll wear this to bed tonight." "No way." "Then I'll send your mother this little collage I made. 4 outfits. One very happy face." I felt the ground fall out from beneath me. I took the nightgown. She smiled. "Good girl." That night, I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, wrapped in satin and shame. I could still smell the faint perfume on my skin. My lips were still glossy, even after wiping them twice. My legs felt exposed under the gown, and I hated how aware I was of every inch of my body now. I wanted to cry, but I didn't, because deep down, I wasn't sure who I was crying for. I thought it would end there. A night of humiliation. A nightmare to forget. But the next morning, Aunt Veronica introduced me to someone new. Someone who thought I was her niece. And I couldn't correct her. Smile for her, Danielle. First impressions matter. "Wait, what did you just call me?" "Danielle." "It suits you so much better, don't you think?" I woke up the next morning to the smell of fresh coffee and toast. For a second, I forgot where I was. Then I looked down. The nightgown. Soft. Light pink. Still clinging to my body. Reality came crashing back like a wave. I bolted upright, heart racing, eyes scanning for my jeans, my shirt, anything that felt like mine. But they were gone. The suitcase I'd brought with my regular clothes? Vanished. Only the closet remained. And it had changed. The boyish hoodie I wore on arrival was replaced with a row of blouses. My sneakers were replaced by sandals. Flats. Low heels. I scrambled out of bed and opened the door. The hallway smelled like citrus and lavender. I padded toward the kitchen, clutching a throw blanket around me like a shield. That's when I heard the voices. 2 women. One was Aunt Veronica. The other was unfamiliar, lighter voice, younger but confident. "You'll love her," Aunt Veronica was saying. "She's very sweet. I can't wait. I haven't seen you since the divorce party." I froze.
She's talking about me.
But the word "her" repeated in my mind like a slap.
No.
She wouldn't. Would she? I stepped into the living room. The stranger turned. She was tall, tan, glamorous. Maybe mid-20s, with perfectly done nails and a Starbucks iced drink in hand. She blinked when she saw me, then smiled. "Ah, there she is. You must be Danielle." I opened my mouth, but nothing came out. Aunt Veronica stood behind her, arms folded, smiling softly, warningly. "Come here, Danielle. Don't be shy."
Danielle.
Not Daniel. I felt my throat tighten. Hi," I muttered, voice barely above a whisper. "Isn't she adorable?" Aunt Veronica beamed. "My sweet little niece. She's staying with me for a few weeks while her parents are away." I felt dizzy. The woman walked over, eyeing me from head to toe. "I love your lashes, babe. What mascara are you using?" My cheeks burned. "She's just experimenting right now," Aunt Veronica answered for me, still finding her look. "Well, I say go full glam," the woman giggled. "You've got the face for it." She winked at me. Boys must be losing their minds. My stomach dropped. I'm not," I started to say, but Aunt Veronica gently touched my arm. "Danielle, why don't you grab something from the closet and show Summer one of your new outfits?" I turned to her slowly. "What?" Her voice lowered. Her smile didn't fade.
Now.
Back in the room, I stared at the closet like it was a portal to hell.
Skirts.
Dresses. Lingerie. Every item whispering the same thing. "You're not him anymore." I picked the simplest outfit I could, a pastel skirt and white sleeveless blouse. My hands shook as I dressed. My legs looked too long. My hips weren't right. My chest was flat. But somehow the outfit still worked. Still betrayed me. The mirror didn't show Daniel. It showed someone unsure. Nervous. Delicate. Pretty?
No.
I couldn't think that. But as I brushed out my hair, applied the light gloss Aunt Veronica had left by the mirror, and took one deep breath, I stepped out. "There she is." Summer clapped. "Look at you, girl." Aunt Veronica looked pleased. "Isn't she blooming fast?" "She should totally join us for lunch at the cafe," Summer said. "We'll get her a mani-pedi too. Total glow-up day." I froze. Public? A cafe?
No way.
"I'm not ready," I whispered. Aunt Veronica's hand slid around my shoulder. She leaned close. "Sweetheart, you already walked into the role. It's too late to back out now." Then she kissed my cheek, like a proud mother. And something inside me broke a little more. "You look nervous, Danielle." "I'm fine." "Good. Because everyone's watching you now." The car ride felt like a slow descent into madness. I sat in the back seat, skirt brushing my thighs, legs crossed the way Aunt Veronica had shown me. Like a lady, Danielle. Always crossed at the knees. Never wide. Never crude. Summer played upbeat music and chatted like we were old friends. I could barely answer her. My eyes stayed fixed on the window, watching the streets pass, every store and sidewalk a reminder of the danger ahead. I was about to be seen. By strangers. As a girl. As Danielle. My hands were trembling in my lap. You'll be fine, Aunt Veronica said from the driver's seat. Just smile. Speak softly. Follow my lead. I shouldn't be doing this, I whispered. She glanced at me through the rearview mirror, her eyes cold and sharp. You already are. We pulled up to a trendy outdoor cafe. White umbrellas. Chic girls in sunglasses. Guys in gym gear and cologne. It was the kind of place I'd never step into as Danielle. But Danielle? Apparently, she had a table reserved. Summer squealed. Let's get a window seat. I want people to see how cute we look.
Cute.
My stomach twisted. As we walked across the parking lot, I tried to match their pace. Soft, short steps, slightly swaying. The low heels clicked on the pavement with every terrified beat of my heart. Every eye felt like it was on me. Was I passing? Were they laughing? Did they know? I wanted to run. But Aunt Veronica's hand slid gently onto my lower back, guiding me forward, smiling. Danielle, chin up. We sat. I hid behind the menu. Summer leaned over. Get the peach iced tea. It's so your vibe.
Your vibe.
My vibe? What vibe was I giving off? Nervous breakdown chic? Then the waiter came. Mid-20s.
Tan. Tall.
Stubble on his jawline. Confident smirk. Ladies. What can I get you today? Ladies. The word hit me like a brick. My throat caught. I looked up. He was staring directly at me. And for you, miss? Summer smirked. I panicked. Iced tea.
Peach.
Please. He smiled. Great choice. Then winked. He winked. At me. My face turned bright red. Aunt Veronica giggled softly. Oh my. Danielle, are you blushing? Summer leaned closer. I think our girl has a little admirer.
He didn't know, I muttered.
He didn't know I'm… That's the point, Aunt Veronica said. You're blending in beautifully. She leaned closer, her voice dropping to a whisper. You passed. That means you belong here now. I didn't speak for the next 20 minutes. The iced tea tasted like shame and confusion, but I drank every drop.
People walked by.
Some glanced. A few even smiled. No one shouted. No one pointed. And slowly, a strange numbness began to take over. Maybe it was relief. Maybe it was surrender. But for the first time, I looked down at myself. The skirt, the soft blouse, the faint pink polish Summer had added to my nails, and instead of panicking, I just stared. We stopped at a boutique on the way home. Summer begged to pick out something fun for me. I didn't argue.
I didn't resist.
Because in that moment, resisting felt harder than obeying. Later that night, in my room, I stood in front of the mirror again. The girl looking back at me was a little more real now. A little less scared. My hair had been curled slightly. My lips glossed again. Summer had bought me a pale yellow sundress I swore I'd never wear, and yet there I was, turning slowly, watching the fabric sway like it belonged. What is happening to me? I whispered. You're finally waking up, Aunt Veronica said from the doorway. I jumped. She smiled, walked over, and placed a delicate necklace around my neck. Tomorrow, she said softly, we try heels. Today, I passed as a girl in public. Tomorrow, I learn how to walk like one. And I don't know if I'm scared anymore. Or thrilled. Balance is everything, Danielle. You don't walk in heels, you glide. I can't. What if I fall? Then you fall beautifully. And smile while doing it. Aunt Veronica's living room turned into a runway the next morning. The furniture had been moved. A long mirror now leaned against the far wall, and on the floor, 3 pairs of heels, all in a row. 1 nude, 1 black and strappy, and 1 pair of blinding hot pink stilettos that looked like punishment and power in one. Today, Aunt Veronica announced, you learn how to carry yourself. I don't need to do this, I said softly, still wearing the robe she'd left me. No, sweet girl, she said with a cold smile. You need to do this perfectly. She made me start with a nude pair, modest, maybe 3 inches tall. Even then, the first few steps were a disaster. My knees buckled. I wobbled. I grabbed the wall like it was a life raft. She watched in silence. Slower, she finally said, Small steps. Hips loose. Shoulders straight. I tried.
Fell.
Laughed nervously. She didn't laugh. Again. It went on like that for hours.
Step. Fall. Critique.
Correction. Her voice never rose. It didn't have to. The quiet judgment in her tone was worse than yelling. I wanted to scream.
Cry. Quit.
But when I finally crossed the room without stumbling, even once, she clapped.
Soft. Slow.
That's my girl. And my heart twisted, because I liked hearing it, even if I hated myself for liking it. That afternoon, she handed me this strappy black pair and a short black skirt to match. The outfit hugged my hips, made my legs look longer, smoother, more dangerous. A simple crop top finished the look. Then came the final test. We're going to the plaza, she said. You'll walk. I'll follow. You'll order us coffee. Smile. Speak clearly. If anyone doubts you, the training starts over from day one. I stared at her. You're serious?
Deadly.
The plaza was open, crowded, sunny. A maze of glass windows, flower stands, and stylish people taking selfies and sipping lattes. My heels clicked against the stone path with each heartbeat. I took small steps. Shoulders straight, eyes ahead. The wind lifted my skirt just slightly. I tugged it down, cheeks burning. Don't trip. Don't trip. Don't. My heel caught on a crack. I stumbled. Tried to catch myself.
Failed. Fell.
Right in front of a cafe. Right in front of two guys in gym clothes. My bag spilled. Lip gloss, tissues, a compact mirror, and a tampon. Laughter.
Phones.
One of them raised his camera. Damn. She wiped out. Delete that, I gasped. The guy smirked. Relax, babe. You okay? He offered his hand. I hesitated, then took it, because Danielle would. He helped me up. His hand lingered. His eyes scanned my body, clearly interested. Nice legs, he said. Thanks, I stammered.
He winked.
Careful next time. Those heels are dangerous. They walked off, and Aunt Veronica appeared behind me, calm, collected. Well, she asked. He filmed me, I whispered, shaking.
Yes.
But he thought you were beautiful. What if it goes online? Then you'll go viral. Pretty girl falls in heels. Welcome to womanhood. Back at home, I locked myself in the bathroom, pulled off the heels, stared at the bruises on my knees. But what haunted me more than the fall was the way he looked at me, the way I felt when he called me pretty. I hated that I didn't hate it. I hated that I might be getting used to this. I fell. I humiliated myself. But for the first time, someone wanted me. Not Daniel. Not the boy. They wanted Danielle. And I didn't stop them. Your voice is still too deep, Danielle. Try again. I can't. This isn't me anymore.
Exactly.
He's fading. Let him go. The mirror became my prison. Every morning now started the same. Face wash, toner, moisturizer, concealer, foundation, blush, mascara, lip gloss. Then voice lessons. Aunt Veronica had installed an app on my phone called Feminine Voice Coach, and every time I opened it, a sweet robotic voice greeted me. Welcome back, Danielle. Let's soften your tone today. I hated it, but I obeyed. Because she watched. Always. My old clothes were gone. Not just hidden, burned. Literally. I found out the day I snuck into the garage looking for my hoodie, desperate for a moment of normalcy. All I found was a charred pile in the fire pit and a single note taped to the wall. Boys' clothes don't belong in this house anymore. I broke down on the spot, sank to the floor, clutching the wall like it might save me. You didn't have to do this, I sobbed when Aunt Veronica found me. She knelt beside me, calm as ever. You're mourning him, she said gently. That's normal. He was safe. He was forgettable.
But he wasn't you.
I'm not Danielle either. She tilted her head, stroking my hair softly. No, but you're getting there. And that terrified me more than anything else. That night, something shifted. I sat in the backyard alone, still dressed in a pale green romper she'd made me wear all day. My nails were painted soft pink, my legs smooth, My lips still tasted like strawberry gloss. I didn't know who I was anymore. I didn't know where Daniel had gone. Nice night for stargazing.
The voice startled me.
I looked up. A boy stood at the fence.
Tall. Blonde. Hoodie.
Kind eyes. Hi, I said, automatically adjusting my posture. Danielle's posture. He smiled. Didn't mean to scare you. I'm Matt. My aunt lives next door.
Matt.
I blinked. I'm. He waited. Danielle, I said.
Softly.
Broken. Nice to meet you, Danielle. He smiled again. Pretty name. My stomach fluttered.
No. Not now.
Not him. Not this. You okay? He asked. You look like you've been crying. I nodded quickly. Allergies.
Yeah.
Happens to my sister too. He didn't question me. Didn't look closer. Didn't see the trembling underneath. He just smiled, nodded, and said, Well, if you ever want company, I'm usually out here around this time. Don't be a stranger. And then he left. And I sat there, shaking. Not from fear. From how good it felt to be seen. Not as Daniel, but as her. He called me Danielle. And for the first time, I didn't correct him. I let it happen. And it didn't hurt. You entered me in what? It's only a local pageant, sweetheart. Think of it as you're coming out. I'm not coming out. I'm breaking apart. It started with an envelope. I found it on the kitchen counter after school, sealed in pink with a rose gold wax stamp. My name, Danielle, was handwritten on the front. Inside, a contestant number. A glittery pamphlet titled, Miss Spring Blossom Pageant 2025. I dropped it like it burned me. This is a joke, I whispered. No, Aunt Veronica said calmly from behind. It's your big debut. I turned, trembling. I'm not doing it.
She didn't argue.
She just opened a box on the table. Inside was a dress, not just any dress. A floor-length pale pink satin gown, with rhinestones on the bodice and a flowing skirt that shimmered like water under sunlight. You're doing it, she said. Or that cute neighbor boy will find out everything. My heart froze.
Matt.
He still waved to me every evening. Still called me Danielle with that sweet smile. I couldn't risk losing that. So I nodded. And I died a little inside. The pageant was 4 days away. And the training began immediately.
Poise. Posture. Walk. Wave. Smile.
Makeup under pressure. Heels for 8 hours a day. Smile without teeth. Aunt Veronica barked. No slouching. Hair flips should look effortless, not like you're avoiding a bee. Again. 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 She brought in her old friend from a local salon, Miss Lana, who wore 7-inch heels like they were slippers and could apply false lashes with her eyes closed. They plucked my eyebrows into delicate arches, waxed my upper lip, glued extensions into my hair. You're a pretty one, Miss Lana whispered, tilting my chin. So much wasted behind that boy act. I didn't answer. I was too busy breathing through the pain. The day of the pageant came too fast. The town hall buzzed with families, friends, flashing cameras, and local reporters. Dozens of girls, most of them younger than me, were already in their gowns, giggling and twirling. And then there was me, in heels so high I could barely balance. Makeup so thick I couldn't recognize myself. Hair curled, lips glossed, breasts padded, hips cinched, earrings dangling, perfume clouding my senses. Deep breaths, Aunt Veronica whispered backstage. You're about to become unforgettable. When my number was called, I walked out, blinded by lights, deafened by applause. And for a second, I couldn't move. Then I saw him.
Matt.
In the audience. Smiling. Clapping. He had no idea. He was clapping for me. Something inside snapped. And I walked. Not like Daniel trying to act like Danielle. I walked like I was her. Confident. Shoulders back. Chin up.
Eyes soft.
And the crowd loved it. Then came the talent segment. Most girls sang or danced. Aunt Veronica had made me memorize a poem, a dramatic reading of Sylvia Plath's Mirror. I am silver and exact. I have no preconceptions. Whatever I see, I swallow immediately. I said it softly, like a confession. And the room went silent. Not mocking, not laughing.
Silent. Moved.
I was shaking by the time I walked off. But something had changed. When the night ended, I didn't win. But I did place third.
People took pictures with me.
Called me beautiful. Whispered about the mysterious new girl in town. And when Matt came up to me after the show, holding a tiny rose, "You were amazing," he said. "I never knew you were so confident." I stared at him, heart pounding. "Thanks," I whispered, voice soft and sweet. "You really are something else, Danielle." And for once, I didn't feel like I was pretending. The pageant was supposed to break me, but somehow it made her stronger. The morning sun crept in through the sheer curtains, casting soft rays over the room that was once a guest bedroom, and now undeniably hers. My heart thudded in rhythm with a ticking clock on the wall, each second reminding me that there was no turning back.
Not now.
My aunt entered quietly, a cup of tea in one hand, a pink robe folded neatly in the other. "Good morning, sweetheart," she said in that warm, manipulative voice she had perfected. I sat up slowly, brushing the long strands of hair from my face. Extensions.
Glossy. Feminine.
"Today's a big day," she added. "We're gonna get you seen. Really seen." I didn't respond. I didn't know how to respond anymore. Somewhere between the daily beauty routines, the girly clothes, the voice training, and the endless corrections, I had stopped fighting. Or maybe I just didn't know who I was fighting anymore. She helped me into the robe and led me to the full-length mirror. Look. I didn't want to, but I did. The girl in the reflection blinked back at me. Her skin glowed with moisturized softness, her lashes curled with precision, and her lips, they looked natural, plump, even enticing. The curve of her collarbone, the way the robe framed her figure, it was all so deliberate. Like someone had built her. My aunt stood behind me and placed her hands on my shoulders. "She's beautiful," she whispered. "Who is she?" I asked quietly. She smiled into the mirror. "You, darling. That's who you've always been." Tears welled in my eyes, but I didn't know if it was shame, grief, or something far more terrifying, acceptance. The mall was alive with energy, heels clicking on marble floors, perfume mist in the air, chatter and laughter around every corner. And there I was, walking 2 steps behind my aunt, a clutch bag clutched tightly in my manicured hands, my heart ready to explode. Every step felt like betrayal. Of myself. Of my past. "Relax," my aunt whispered. "You're just a girl enjoying a day of shopping." But I wasn't. I was a boy in a padded bra and a floral dress. Or was I still? The stares I got weren't mocking. Men glanced and looked again. Women smiled at me. One even complimented my shoes. I found myself blushing. At the beauty counter, the sales assistant smiled warmly. "Your daughter's adorable," she said to my aunt. I froze. My aunt squeezed my shoulder.
"She is."
"She really is." I opened my mouth to correct her, but nothing came out. I met Liam at the bookstore. He was tall, charming, and asked if I was new in town. My aunt had wandered off, leaving me alone in a tight lavender dress that hugged my new curves. I wasn't supposed to talk to strangers. But he smiled, and I smiled back. We talked for 20 minutes about books, favorite movies, and somehow he got my number. When we left, I told my aunt everything. I expected her to scream. Instead, she just chuckled. "He sounds perfect." "What?" "You need someone to see you as you are. Someone who makes you feel safe and beautiful." No, I don't need a boy to validate." "Then why are you smiling right now?" I touched my lips, shocked that I was smiling. 2 weeks passed. Liam and I kept texting.
Flirty. Sweet.
He didn't know, of course. And I told myself I wouldn't let it get serious. But one night, under soft fairy lights in a park cafe, he leaned in and kissed me. It was gentle.
Honest.
And terrifying. Because for a moment, I kissed him back. And I liked it. I ran away that night. I couldn't look at myself. I scrubbed the makeup off, ripped the dress off, and collapsed on the floor, sobbing. Who was I becoming? The next morning, I confronted her. Why are you doing this to me? She looked at me calmly, her expression unreadable. I lost someone, she said. My sister. Your mother. She died wishing she could have raised a daughter. You could have adopted. I wanted you. You were sensitive.
Kind.
Beautiful in ways you never saw. You twisted me. I freed you. No, you broke me. She touched my cheek. You were never broken. You were just hiding. Days blurred together. Dresses replaced jeans. My voice slipped naturally into the feminine. People called me Miss and Ma'am. Even I began to forget how my old name sounded. One night, Liam saw me crying after a date.
Talk to me, he said.
And I told him everything. The truth. My truth. He was quiet. Then he touched my hand and whispered, "You're still the most real person I've ever met." He didn't walk away. He kissed me again. And this time, I didn't run. I stood in front of the mirror one last time. My old clothes, hoodie, jeans, sneakers, lay folded on the bed. A chance to go back. But I looked at the girl in the mirror. Her journey, her strength, her pain,
her joy.
"I'm not going back," I whispered. My aunt stepped into the room. "So what should I call you now?" I looked into her eyes and smiled. "Call me Emily." The next morning wasn't a morning at all. It was a lesson. I woke up in the soft pink nightgown Aunt Celeste had chosen for me the night before, with lace-trimmed sleeves and a hem that barely brushed mid-thigh. The sunlight filtered through the sheer curtains, casting a warm glow on the white vanity table, the blush-toned rug, and the collection of accessories neatly arranged like tools of a trade. And I know she was the one being trained. Aunt Celeste didn't waste time. The moment I stepped into the living room, she clapped her hand sharply. "From now on," she said, voice crisp like a headmistress, "you will follow my routine. I expect you dressed, polished, and poised before 9 a.m. every day. Do you understand, Madeline?" Madeline. That name again. I nodded, too numb to protest. "Yes, Aunt Celeste." She smiled.
"Good.
Let's begin." The next few hours blurred into an excruciating schedule. It wasn't just about dressing like a girl anymore. It was about becoming one. 9 a.m., makeup lessons. Aunt Celeste made me sit at the vanity and apply foundation, contour, blush, mascara, eyeliner. Every mistake, she wiped it off and made me start over. "You will not walk around with clown makeup," she snapped once when I messed up the winged liner. "You're a lady, not a joke." 10:30 a.m., poise and posture. She had me walk across the hallway in 3-inch pumps while balancing a hardcover book on my head. I stumbled.
Fell.
She made me start again. "You think this is punishment?" she asked, circling me. "This is discipline. You will thank me when they stare in admiration instead of pity." 12 p.m., voice training. We practiced vowel sounds. She recorded my voice and played it back, pointing out every masculine slip. "Again," she said, arms crossed. "And this time mean it. Your voice is your veil." By the afternoon, my legs were shaking. My lips were sore from reapplying lipstick. My voice cracked from forcing it higher. I collapsed onto the couch, exhausted, only for Aunt Celeste to yank me up. "No slouching. Girls don't lounge like that." She pressed a cup of herbal tea into my hands, guiding me to sit with ankles crossed and back straight. The entire act, my outfit, the makeup, the posture, felt like armor made of silk and steel. "You'll host tea with me tomorrow," she said casually, sitting beside me. "Just a few ladies from the neighborhood. Nothing formal." I stiffened.
"Tea?
"In front of other people?" She smiled. "Of course. They'll think you're my sweet, shy niece. No one needs to know anything else." Panic rose in my throat. "I can't do that. What if they notice? What if someone—" She leaned in close, brushing a strand of hair from my face like a loving aunt would. But her words were cold. "They'll only notice if you break character. So don't." That night, I stared at myself in the mirror for hours. Not as a game, not as a punishment, but as a new version of me. The lashes, the gloss lips, The tiny gold heart necklace, the bra pressing against my chest, the way my thighs brushed when I walked. I was starting to move differently, sit differently, even think differently. Was this what she wanted? Was this what I was becoming? And worst of all, why was a part of me starting to like the way she said Madeline? The next morning, the house didn't feel like home. It felt like a stage. Curtains were open. Fresh lilies stood in a vase by the foyer. A silver tray of teacups gleamed under the sunlight. And I, dressed in a pale yellow floral dress with a flared skirt and satin sash, was being positioned like a centerpiece by Aunt Celeste. She adjusted the ribbon in my hair, her eyes sharp and calculating. "You look innocent. That's good. Keep your eyes down. Smile when you're spoken to. Let them talk first. Laugh softly. And for heaven's sake, don't forget your voice." I barely nodded. My lips were painted a soft rose pink. My nails were buffed and polished. A delicate bracelet jingled faintly on my wrist. I didn't feel like a boy pretending anymore. I felt like a fraud stuck in someone else's life. The doorbell rang. I froze. Aunt Celeste's hand pressed against my lower back. Posture. I straightened. Moments later, they came in, 3 women, all dressed elegantly, all older, polished, refined. One had a thick southern accent. One carried a tiny dog in her purse. The last one had icy blue eyes that seemed to scan right through me. "Is this your niece, Madeline?" one of them asked, tilting her head. My throat clenched. Before I could speak, Aunt Celeste answered. "Yes, she's visiting me for the summer. Just started her journey into womanhood." She squeezed my shoulder gently, almost threateningly. "She's lovely," the icy-eyed woman said. "Shy one, isn't she?" I nodded politely, forcing a small, sweet smile. "Yes, ma'am." That voice, that carefully rehearsed tone. I had never felt so vulnerable, or so watched. The tea began, and the women chatted like this was the most normal day in the world. I listened, laughed when prompted, poured tea with trembling fingers. My hands were sweating in my lap. Every moment was a test, a performance. But they didn't notice. Or maybe they did, and pretended not to. One of them leaned toward me after a story about her daughter's ballet recital. "Have you ever danced, Madeline?" A beat of silence. Then I answered gently, "Not formally, but I like it."
Lie.
But the kind of lie Madeline would tell. They nodded, smiling. They believed it. Then it happened. Mrs. Icy Eyes, the one with the silent stare, set her cup down and looked me dead in the eyes. "You remind me of someone," she said slowly. "That face. The way you carry yourself." I blinked, panic rising.
Oh.
Aunt Celeste jumped in, cheerful. Her mother. "They have the same cheekbones." But the woman didn't smile. "No," she said. "Someone else. A boy I met once. At a museum fundraiser. A bit stiff, awkward, but those eyes. That jawline. It's uncanny." Silence. Tension crackled in the air like static. Was I caught? I froze, until I remembered Aunt Celeste's voice echoing in my head. "Don't break character." So I smiled sweetly.
Tilted my head.
"I get that a lot," I whispered. "But I've always been a girl."
She stared at me,
then smiled faintly. "Well," she said, "whoever you are, you wear it beautifully." When the guests finally left, I collapsed onto the couch, chest heaving. "I almost died," I muttered. She knew. Aunt Celeste stood by the door, her expression unreadable. Then she walked over and cupped my chin. "She suspected," she said softly. "But she didn't know. And you passed." "I can't keep doing this," I whispered. "It's too much." Her fingers brushed my cheek, like a mother soothing a frightened child. But her voice remained cool. "You've just begun." The door had barely clicked shut behind a last guest when I ran upstairs like I was escaping a crime scene. I didn't bother with subtlety anymore. I tore off the delicate ribbon from my hair, ripped the satin sash from my waist, and collapsed in front of the vanity. My chest was tight. My breath came in shaky gulps. My heart thundered as if I'd just escaped a firing squad. I stared into the mirror. She looked back. The girl.
Me.
Madeline. With trembling hands, I reached for the pack of makeup wipes. One swipe. Pink lip gloss vanished. Second swipe. Foundation smeared away, revealing the freckles I hadn't seen in weeks. Third swipe. Mascara ran like tears down my cheeks. But the more I tried to wipe her off, the more I still looked like her. The feminine brows. The soft cheeks. The pierced ears. The faint floral scent from my skin. Who was I wiping away? Her? Or me? Suddenly, I slammed the compact mirror shut and flung the makeup wipes across the room. I'm not her, I choked. I'm not Madeline. I'm not. But I couldn't finish the sentence. Because I didn't know who I was anymore. The bedroom door creaked open. Aunt Celeste entered, holding a folded towel and a cup of calming tea. I turned away, ashamed of my breakdown. She didn't speak at first, just walked over and sat beside me. I remember the first time I broke, she said quietly. I wore lipstick to school on a dare. Everyone laughed. I ran into the girls' bathroom and cried until the bell rang. I glanced at her, confused. You wore lipstick? She smirked. Surprised? I wasn't always this polished. It took me years to become me. We sat in silence for a moment before I whispered, I can't do this, Aunt Celeste. I thought I could pretend, play along, but I feel like I'm disappearing. Her hand touched mine. You're not disappearing, she said. You're discovering.
No.
You're rewriting me. That's where you're wrong. Her eyes locked on mine. I didn't create Madeline. You did. Those words felt like a slap. I didn't ask for this, I hissed. You trapped me. Did I? Or did I just give you the mirror you were afraid to look into? I stood, pacing the room. My friends would hate me. My mom would kill me. What if someone from school sees me like this? What if this gets out? Aunt Celeste didn't flinch. Then you'll deal with it. Or you'll run. Or you'll decide you don't care. But what you won't do is pretend this never happened. I turned to her, eyes burning. Why are you doing this to me? And for once, she didn't have her usual smug answer. She simply whispered, because someone once did it for me. That night, I didn't sleep. I lay in bed staring at the ceiling, mascara still faintly staining my lashes. I felt raw, hollow. But beneath it all, beneath the fear and confusion, something else stirred. Not quite acceptance, but curiosity. It was supposed to be a regular day, a calm after the storm. But Aunt Celeste never did ordinary. She barged into my room before breakfast, waving her car keys like a wand.
Up. Dressed.
Car in 10 minutes. We're going shopping. I blinked at her from under the blanket. Why?
She grinned.
Because I'm going to let you choose. For once. That line hit different. Choose? 10 minutes later, I was sitting in her SUV wearing a hoodie, sunglasses, and a scarf pulled high around my neck like I was on the run from the paparazzi. My heart was pounding. What if someone saw me? What if someone recognized me? But Aunt Celeste just turned up the music, humming along like this was the most normal day in the world. We didn't go to a small store or some hidden boutique.
No.
She drove straight to Silverbrook Mall, the busiest, flashiest, most dangerous place to be seen. Are you trying to kill me? I hissed as we pulled into the parking lot. She smirked. Only a little. Inside, the lights were too bright, the people too many, and my nerves felt like exposed wires. But Aunt Celeste wasn't fazed. She guided me through racks of skirts and shelves of boots like a general leading a mission. And then came the moment. She held up 2 outfits, both bold, both undeniably feminine, and handed them to me. Your call. Try them on. Or don't. But whatever you pick, you wear out of here. I stared at the clothes in my hands. A soft lilac blouse with delicate pearl buttons. A flowy black skirt with a slit. The second outfit was even bolder. A red crop top and tight jeans that shimmered faintly under the lights. Every instinct told me to run. But something else, something I didn't want to admit, wanted to see. So I walked, legs shaking, into the changing room. When I stepped out, wearing the lilac blouse and skirt combo, the world slowed down. Aunt Celeste's eyes widened. Oh, wow. I turned to the mirror, and for the first time, I didn't look like a boy playing dress up. I looked confident, curious, complete. Not a costume, a possibility. A part of me that had been whispering for weeks finally spoke out loud. But then, a voice.
Loud.
Familiar. Oh my God, is that Zane? My blood turned to ice. I whipped around. Rachel, my classmate, from school, standing 3 feet away, eyes wide. She blinked, looked at me, then at Aunt Celeste, and then smiled. Madeline, she asked gently, you look amazing. I couldn't breathe, couldn't speak. I nodded, and she didn't laugh, didn't scream. She just said, let me know if you want to hang sometime. I always need a shopping buddy. And with that, she walked away. I stood frozen, heart racing. And then I realized I hadn't died. The world hadn't ended. Rachel didn't hate me.
She saw me.
And maybe for the first time, so did I. That night, the silence in Aunt Celeste's house was deafening. After the mall, after Rachel, I couldn't stop pacing. What did she really think? Would she tell everyone? Would my secret explode across school by morning? But my phone stayed quiet. No notifications. No angry messages. No laughing emojis from old friends. It was worse than noise. It was uncertainty. I stared at myself in the mirror, still wearing the lilac blouse. My hair curled slightly at the ends, thanks to Celeste's quick touch-ups. My lips had a soft pink gloss, subtle but undeniable. I looked like a different person.
No.
I looked like the real me, someone I never dared to meet. And yet, deep inside, a question echoed. Was I ready to live this life out loud? I didn't have time to answer.
The doorbell rang. Loud.
Sharp. Jarring. I froze. Aunt Celeste looked up from her book in the living room. Expecting someone? I shook my head slowly. Another ring. Then knocking. 3 heavy pounds. Celeste stood. Stay here. But I couldn't. I followed her to the door, heart thudding like a war drum. She opened it, and the past stepped in. It was Ben, my best friend, wide-eyed, confused, holding a hoodie I had left at his place weeks ago. Hey, I didn't know where else to drop this, he said, eyes darting past Celeste. And locking onto me, there was a long, suffocating silence. He blinked. His jaw dropped. Zane. My knees buckled. My breath caught. I couldn't speak. Couldn't run. All I could do was whisper. It's Maddie now. Ben stepped inside slowly. Not with anger, but confusion. Why didn't you tell me? I couldn't lie.
Not now.
Because I didn't know how. Because I didn't know if you'd hate me. He frowned. Why would I hate you? You've always been my best friend. Tears prickled my eyes. He looked me over, not like I was weird, not like I was a stranger, but like he was seeing a puzzle piece finally clicked into place. Then he smirked a little. You actually look kinda badass. I burst out laughing and crying. Relief crashed over me like a wave. Later that night, Ben and I sat on the porch. No judgment. No cruelty. Just questions. Curiosity. Support. I don't get all of it, he said honestly. But if this is you, then I'm in your corner. I leaned on his shoulder. Thank you. And for the first time in forever, I didn't feel like I was hiding anymore. But the calm didn't last. Because the next day, someone else found out. And they weren't nearly as kind. It started with a ping. Then another. And another. My phone buzzed on the nightstand like it was possessed. I rubbed my eyes, barely awake, and reached for it, only to freeze when I saw the screen. 37 notifications. All from people I hadn't heard from in weeks. Tyler. Bro, is this FR? Chelsea. Wait, that's you? Danielle. You look actually kind of amazing, WTF. My heart dropped into my stomach. I tapped the first message that had a link. It led to a post on Instagram. And there it was. A video. Guess who's been living a secret life as a girl? Over 4,000 views. Already. And it hadn't even been posted for an hour. My hand trembled as I tapped play. The video began with footage of me in the mall from yesterday. Someone had recorded it, from behind racks, around corners. Clips of me laughing with Aunt Celeste, walking in heels, trying on makeup, then a slow zoom on my face. "Recognize this girl?" the caption said. "Look a little closer." Then it cut to an old photo, my old face. Hoodie, shaggy hair, skateboard in hand. Side by side. Before and after.
Zane Maddie.
And worst of all, the account that posted it belonged to Rachel. I couldn't breathe. My world spun. My worst fear wasn't just realized. It was uploaded, filtered, and set to music. I had been exposed. Not by accident, but on purpose. Aunt Celeste burst into the room moments later. "I saw it," she said quietly. Her voice was low, dangerous. "You're not going to school today." "But I can't just hide." She stepped forward. "This isn't about hiding. It's about preparing." She gently took my phone from my hands. "There's going to be fallout," she said. "People are going to say things. Some cruel, some curious. But you don't have to face them alone." I wanted to believe her, but I could already see the comment section growing like wildfire. "LMAO, this can't be real. He really went full girl, huh? Wait, she's kinda pretty though, eyes.
Fake.
This has to be a dare or something." That night I cried. Not because I was ashamed of who I'd become, but because my choice had been taken away. I wasn't ready for this. Not like this. Not on their terms. But Aunt Celeste didn't let me spiral. She sat me down, handed me her laptop, and said, "If they've already seen you, then show them who you really are. On your terms." I stared at the blank screen, terrified. But then, I started typing. A post. A confession. My truth. And when I hit publish, everything changed. Again. I stared at the screen, my finger hovering over the post button. My palms were sweating. My heart pounded like a drumline in my ears. But Aunt Celeste's voice echoed in my mind. "If they've already seen you, show them who you really are." And so I did. The caption read,
"Hi.
I never thought I'd say this out loud, but maybe it's time I stop hiding. My name is Maddie. This is me now. Not a dare. Not a joke. Not a prank. Just the person I've become. And maybe the person I was always meant to be." I attached the photo from earlier that week. Me smiling in the boutique mirror, soft makeup, curls in my hair, the lace blouse I swore I'd never wear but now loved. Then,
Post.
it was out there. My heart dropped. I expected hate. I expected disgust. I expected to regret everything. Instead, the first comment read, "You're stunning." Then, "I'm so proud of you, Maddie. This takes guts." I knew something was up, but this is iconic. "You're glowing." Literally glowing. It didn't stop. DMs, comments,
Shares.
likes, classmates, strangers. Even people I thought would laugh or mock didn't. At school, the halls were different. Sure, I got stares, whispers, but there was no pointing, no mocking, no slurs thrown. Instead, nods. A few girls smiled as I passed. Even some guys who used to tease me just gave respectful space. Then, Rachel. She was waiting in my locker. "I didn't think you'd actually own it," she said, arms crossed, voice low. "You thought I'd crawl into a hole?" I shot back. She blinked. Maybe she did. "I just wanted to humiliate you," she admitted. "I didn't expect you to become someone else." "I didn't become someone else," I said. "I became me." She stepped back, clearly unsettled. Good. Later, during lunch, something incredible happened. Chelsea, Queen Bee, fashion goddess, the girl everyone admired, walked straight up to my table. Everyone went silent. She sat down across from me, smiled, and said, "You have no idea how many girls would kill to pull off that look." I blinked. "What?" She leaned in. "You've got style. And guts. And I'm starting a fashion TikTok collab next month. Want in?" My fork nearly dropped. I don't know. "You'll be perfect," she grinned. "Think about it. You've already gone viral. Might as well own it. That night, I sat in front of the mirror. No longer trembling. No longer doubting. My makeup was neat, my smile confident, my curls falling just right. And for the first time, since this all began, I whispered to my reflection, "You're not a secret anymore." It started with a ding. One tiny notification. But it stopped my world. "Dad, we need to talk. I saw your post." I froze. No words. No breath. My thumb hovered over the screen, but I couldn't press anything. My heart thundered. My face drained of color. Dad knew. After all this time of keeping it from him, after telling him I was just staying with Aunt Celeste for summer school, after avoiding video calls, after deleting any feminine photo before he could possibly see it, he knew. I called Aunt Celeste into the room, nearly in tears. "He saw it," I whispered. She didn't have to ask what. Her arms wrapped around me immediately. "Then you're not hiding anymore," she said gently. "It was going to happen someday, sweetheart. But what if he hates me?" Hours passed before I dared to message back. I finally replied, "Okay, can we call?" Seconds felt like hours. And then the phone rang. "Hey, kid." His voice was softer than I expected. Not angry. Not even cold. Just tired. "Hi, Dad." A pause. Then, "Is this real?" "All of it." I swallowed. My throat was dry.
Yeah.
"It's real. It's me." Another long silence. Then a deep sigh. I didn't know what to think when I saw that post. At first, I thought someone was messing with you.
Or,
I don't know. "Dad, I never meant to lie. I just didn't think you'd accept it. I won't lie, it was a shock." Another pause. "But I've been thinking about it all day. And if this is who you are, if this is what makes you happy, then I want to understand." My breath caught. Tears welled up. You're not mad?" "I don't get it all yet. But I raised you to be strong. And it took real courage to put yourself out there like that. That's the kind of strength I'm proud of." I was crying now. He kept talking. "You've always been a little different. But different isn't bad. If you're Maddie now, then okay. I'll learn. Just don't shut me out, okay?" I nodded, even though he couldn't see me. "I won't." After the call, I just sat there, silent, heart aching with relief. I wasn't a secret anymore. And I wasn't alone either. I thought the hardest part was over. But I was wrong. Way wrong. Because just when I started to feel safe, when I started to truly become Maddie, someone from my past brought everything crashing down. It began with a message. An anonymous account. No profile picture. No name. Just two chilling words. "Remember him?" Attached was a photo.
of me.
From before. Short hair. Baggy hoodie. That lifeless, empty stare I wore every day. The old me. And that photo, it wasn't just any old photo. It was from my school ID. One I thought was long gone, deleted, buried under Maddie's new life. And now someone had it. I showed Aunt Celeste immediately. Her face turned pale. "That's a threat," she said. "Whoever this is, they want something." A second message came in minutes later. "If you don't want this going public, meet me.
Tonight.
Alone." I should have said no. I should have blocked them. But curiosity and fear dragged me in like a tide I couldn't fight. The meeting spot was an abandoned skate park near the edge of town, where I used to hang out with guys like Tyler and Chase, pretending I belonged. I arrived early. Fog hovered in the air, thick and heavy. I waited. Then, from the shadows, he stepped out.
Jace.
One of the worst bullies from my old life. Smirking. Holding a manila envelope. "I almost didn't believe it was you, dude," he said with a grin. "But damn, look at you now. Skirt, makeup, heels, wow." I swallowed hard. "What do you want?" He tossed the envelope at my feet. "Proof," he said, "of who you really are." I didn't pick it up. I didn't have to. I knew what was inside. "You're blackmailing me?" I asked. He shrugged. "Not if you play nice." "What does that mean?" He stepped closer. "You're going to come back to school this fall. But not as Maddie. As him. The loser we all remember."
Got it.
I was shaking. Not from fear, but rage.
No.
His eyes narrowed. Then I guess I'll just let the world know the truth. Show everyone what you used to be. Say goodbye to your followers, your new life, even your dad.
He didn't know.
Didn't know that I already told my dad. Didn't know that I wasn't ashamed anymore. I stepped forward, my voice steady. You think you can break me by dragging out the past? I was that scared, confused boy once. But not anymore. I looked him straight in the eye. I'm Maddie now. And no one, not you, not your threats, can take that from me.
He didn't expect that.
He backed off, eyes cold. You'll regret this, he hissed. But I didn't. Because in that moment I chose myself. Not the fear. Not the shame.
Me.
After confronting Jace, I thought I had reached my final test. But Aunt Celeste, always one step ahead, had something planned that would change everything again. Something bold. Something permanent. It started with a dress. Not just any dress. A glittering, designer, one-of-a-kind gown that looked like it belonged on a red carpet. Rose gold, figure-hugging, elegant, breathtaking. Celeste laid it on my bed that morning. What's this for? I asked, staring in disbelief. She smiled softly. Tonight, you're not just dressing up. You're debuting. I blinked. Debuting where? The answer sent chills down my spine. She had entered me, as Maddie, into a local fashion gala, a prestigious event filled with designers, influencers, and journalists. The type of place where identities are cemented, not questioned. You'll walk the runway, she said. As you. As Maddie. No turning back. I was speechless. Terrified. Thrilled. Shaking. That night came faster than I imagined. Hair curled and pinned. Lashes thick. Lips painted in a soft, glossy pink. Nails perfect. Heels sky-high. As I looked in a mirror, I saw a woman. A confident one.
Stunning.
Real. I wasn't pretending anymore. Backstage at the venue, the lights were blinding. The music thumped in my chest. The crowd buzzed. And somewhere in the back row, I spotted Aunt Celeste, and even more shockingly, my dad. In a suit. Watching. Not angry. Not confused. Just present. My throat caught. Then, the music changed. The curtain opened. My name was called. Maddie. Not a model. Not an actor. Just me. I stepped forward. One heel in front of the other. Head high. Shoulders back. The dress shimmered under the lights. Cameras flashed. And for the first time in my life, I felt like I belonged. Not hiding. Not acting. Not surviving. Thriving. After the show, a dozen people approached me. Compliments. Applause. One designer even handed me a card. You've got something special, he said. But none of that compared to what came next. My dad walked up to me.
Paused.
Then opened his arms. I'm sorry I didn't understand, he whispered. But I see you now. Tears blurred my vision. I hugged him tight. Aunt Celeste stood behind him, beaming. Her plan wasn't just about fashion. It was about freedom. About making Maddie undeniable. No more secrets. No more hiding. No more fear. I didn't just live in her closet anymore. I had stepped out into the world. And the world saw me. Just when everything felt perfect, when I had finally stepped into the light as Maddie, accepted by Celeste, embraced by my dad, applauded by strangers. A shadow from my past returned. Someone I never expected to see again. It was after the gala, during the rooftop after-party. Lights sparkled across the city skyline, soft music played, and I was still glowing from the runway high. Then I saw him.
Kyle.
My old best friend. The one I used to play video games with. The one who knew me as Matt. The one I ghosted when everything started spiraling. He stood there with a drink in his hand, jaw slack, eyes wide, staring right at me. And I froze. And Matt. His voice cut through the music like a knife. Heads turned. Celeste tensed behind me. But I didn't flinch. I lifted my chin, heart pounding. It's Maddie now. He laughed, unsure, trying to make sense of what he was seeing. Wait, what is this? A prank? Some kind of stunt?
No.
It's me. The real me. He looked again. Not with mockery, but with pain. I thought you just disappeared, he muttered. You cut me off. I thought you were in trouble, man. I even called your dad. My breath caught. You what? I thought something bad happened, Kyle said. I didn't know what was going on, so I reached out. He said you were fine, that you were with your aunt, that he didn't want to talk about it. Celeste stepped forward. That was before he understood. Kyle looked between us, realization slowly sinking in. You really wanted this? I nodded. No, I said. I needed this. There was silence. Then Kyle said softly, You should have told me. I was scared. I would have helped. I didn't know that then. He stepped closer. Then he hugged me.
Tight.
Like nothing had changed. Except everything had. That hug meant more than applause, more than a runway, more than makeup and dresses. Because it meant something I hadn't dared hope for. That my past could meet my present and still love me. But just as I breathed out in relief, Celeste's phone buzzed. Her smile faded. She showed me the screen. A message from someone unknown. Nice show. But you're not safe yet. Secrets always come out. I froze. A new name. A new threat. Someone still knew. And they weren't done. The message from R wasn't just a threat. It was a crack in everything I thought I'd rebuilt. Celeste tried to calm me. It's probably a troll. Someone jealous of your rise. But I knew better. This wasn't just some stranger. This was someone who knew. About my past. About Celeste. About everything. The next day, I found a manila envelope taped to our apartment door. No name. No return address. Inside, photos. Me, before and after. Me, sneaking out of Aunt Celeste's house in heels and makeup. Me, shopping with her. Me, in full Maddie glam, blown up like tabloid shots. And a note. You think you're a woman now? You're just a costume. The world deserves the truth. My stomach dropped. Celeste grabbed the note, eyes narrowing. This is blackmail. I'll call my lawyer. No, I whispered. I want to know who it is. I needed to know. Because this wasn't just an attack on me. It was someone trying to erase Maddie. We traced the note through the building's security footage. The person who left the envelope? My old classmate Rachel. Rachel, the girl I once humiliated in middle school with a dumb locker prank. Back then, I was a different person, a boy desperate to fit in. She never forgot. She had followed my transformation from the shadows, jealous, bitter, waiting. And now that I was successful, thriving, she wanted to ruin me. We confronted her at her apartment. She didn't even flinch. You think you're the only one who changed, she sneered. You think a few dresses make you special? Celeste stepped forward. He's not playing dress up. She's become who she was always meant to be. Rachel scoffed. You turned him into your project. You brainwashed him. No, I said quietly. She gave me the freedom I never had. Rachel paused. For just a moment, she looked lost. Hurt. And then, she slammed the door. We went straight to the press. We told the truth. My truth. I wrote an article. I shared my journey. How I was scared. How I found safety in my aunt's home. How transformation saved my life. And the response? Overwhelming. People didn't shame me. They celebrated me. Even strangers wrote messages of support. Kyle messaged again. I'm proud of you, Maddie, for telling your truth. Celeste smiled, tears in her eyes. You're not just my niece anymore, she said. You're a star. And in that moment, I realized something. This wasn't just a story of revenge or transformation or fear. This was a story of rebirth. Epilogue, a new beginning. Months later, I walk into a new studio. Cameras flash. Stylists rush around. A sign says, Maddie, brand ambassador shoot. My name. My identity. My truth. And as I sit in the makeup chair, Celeste walks by with a wink. Ready to slay the world, darling? I smirk. I already did.